May your life be as a song, resounding with the dawn, to sing awake the night, and softly serenade the stars, ever dancing circles in the night. May your life be as a song, resounding with the dawn, to sing awake the night, and sounding with the dawn, to sing awake the night, and sounding with the dawn, to sing awake the night, and sounding with the dawn, to sing awake the night, and sounding with the dawn, to sing awake the night, and sounding with the dawn, to sing awake the night, and sounding with the dawn, to sing awake the night, and dancing circles in the night, the stars, ever dancing circles in the night.
And now, if you'll join me as we light our chalice to begin our service. We kindle this flame, symbol of our faith, for the light of truth, the warmth of community, and the fire of love, which calls us to work for justice.
Good morning, dear friends. My name is Barbara, and I'm pleased to present oh my gosh, present this service along with my dear friend Roz. We're taking a different path this year than in years past and focusing on the stories of you in this community, as I believe this is where our strength will come over the next couple of years, which I'm quite sure will be difficult and take us all to the bones of our faith. By highlighting COVID stories of love, faith, and hope, we mean no disrespect to all the pain and loss we've all experienced. Instead, we hope for a sweet coming together. Reflection story number 1. This story is completely made up. It's my fantasy, but part of me actually believes it's real. Woohoo! It goes like this. Hello, VUU. This is your sanctuary, writing to tell you my COVID story. For most of my life, until COVID, I lived for Sunday mornings because you filled me up to the brim. I loved holding you and your little ones. And I was worried at the beginning of COVID because for a few weeks, I was alone. And then one day, a group came and stayed every day and every night. They had their trials, of course, but overall, I was able to provide shelter from the heat, the cold, and the rain. I've heard that because of this stability, Some were able to rise above their situations, find homes of their own, and eventually meaningful work. I'm so pleased to have been able to be part of their healing, which is all thanks to you for sharing me with the larger community. You allowed me to provide sanctuary to those in need, and for that, I am so grateful. Thank you, VUU. Thank you.
Good morning. It is a oh gosh. I think there's something in the water here. It is a pleasure and a privilege to bring you this service with Barbara Faith today. This is a true opportunity to celebrate this great community we affectionately call VUU through our own stories of joy and resilience in a time of challenge. When my children were very young, I used to tell them that the greatest gift they could have in life was not something that would be given to them, but learning to manifest hope. Because if you believe that there is light out of the darkness, hope will see you through the toughest of times. VUU embodied hope when COVID, loss of key leaders, and separation hit the community like a tornado blowing the foundation away. Despite those obstacles, our congregation kept standing in our own spaces, connecting virtually, and we continued to find ways to maintain the spirit of the community. Welcome, one and all, who have joined us today in person or in the virtual space. Regardless of your religious or ethnic background, who you love, what social or economic status may be, our doors are open to you. We do appreciate your presence in all of our spaces, and we're glad you've chosen to spend this time with us today. As is our custom, if we have visitors in person, would you please stand as you are willing or able? We're excited to have you here with us today. And if you're visiting via Zoom, please introduce yourself in the chat. Thank you for being with us. After service, please grab a beverage and a snack, then join us in the welcome circle in the rear of the sanctuary. In addition, today, we always love to hear children chatter. It makes us remember that we're all here together. But in addition to the welcome circle, we have people who have expressed an interest in becoming members, and we are so excited to have the new membership group coming back together. So for those who have expressed an interest, Beverly is going to be meeting with you today in the front of the sanctuary over by the piano, and she's got some treats for you and some information. So please join Beverly this afternoon if you're requesting to become a new member, and we're going to get you started. Very happy to have you here as well. And don't forget, Nancy's also in the back. For those who are exploring us and visiting, please join Nancy in the welcome circle and learn more about us. Now, a few housekeeping points and announcements. For those young ones who may become visiting, or even if you're a little bit older, there's a baby comfort room to your right to use as needed, and it's equipped with a speaker so that you won't miss any of the service. For those of you who might need a listening ear, or just someone to give you a hug to get you through your week, Carl Anderson is our lay pastoral associate. Carl, there he is. And Claudette Wassel will be available on Zoom via the chat. So please look for the message from Claudette, and you can respond to her personally. And of course, we are also available during the week. So just make sure our contact information is up on the slide, and we are always here for you. So while we maintain the breakout rooms online after service, don't forget the Welcome Circle is a great vehicle to get to know us better, meet other members, ask questions, or share your thoughts in person. Now, one of our members submitted the following. My husband had to close his chiropractic practice in March 2020. I got him all to myself. For a whole year, we rode our bikes together daily. We watched TED Talks, read books, swam in the pool, and drove to the woods for long walks. We cooked together and had elaborate patio meals with candles. We spent really a lot of time together in a way that was a blessing I will never, ever forget. Even after all these years, he is still my best friend. COVID gave us a year of incredible time together. Such a treasure, the time we spend together. Amazingly, I believe it was because my husband is my best friend and we shared the responsibility of caring for our youngest grandchildren. I never felt isolated during the height of the shutdown period. However, in October 2020, I required major back surgery, which left me with extremely limited mobility. During my recovery, we were limited to who could come to our home due to COVID restrictions. And in spite of all of that, my husband, completely out of his element, served as my sole caregiver without complaint. What a gift. Calls, cards, and offers of assistance from this community also reminded me that we were not alone. I thank you. And once again, welcome to the congregation. And now, Noel, will you lead us in song?
Well, it was because of COVID that we now can participate in our services from home through Zoom. And so before we sing our opening hymn, we'll do our little wave hello to those who are at home. And from those of you at home, you can wave. If you're here and you want to look at the camera, Mark's going to be turning it. And most of the congregation is kind of in that back corner. I don't think that camera is going to show that, but hey, everybody. Okay, so the opening hymn is Wo Ya Ya, which is Ghanaian, and it means we are going. And this was a line that was often sung in work camps through West and Central Africa in the 70s and 80s. And there's a Ghanaian drummer, Sol Amarifo, who was part of a musical group of Ghanaian and Caribbean musicians. And he wrote our opening song inspired by those work camps. And then this version was transcribed to English by Issei Barnwell. So Beth's going to help me lead this. You may not be familiar with it, but the choir's been working on it, so hopefully we'll be good. We are going, heaven knows where we are going, but we know we will, and we will get there. Heaven knows how we will get there, but we know we will. It will be hard, we know, and the road will be muddy and rough, but we'll get there. Heaven knows how we will get there, but we know we will. Wo ya ya, wo ya ya, wo ya ya, wo ya ya. We are going, heaven knows where we are going, but we know within, and we will get there. Heaven knows how we will get there, but we know we will. Wo ya ya, wo ya ya, wo ya ya, wo ya ya, wo ya 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 ya, wo ya 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 ya, wo ya ya oh, yeah, 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 yeah.
Nice job. Reflection story number 3. I was inspired to present this topic on this day because looking back, I realized that in spite of all the losses I experienced, I also experienced a lot of joys during the lockdown time. For example, I was able to attend a courthouse Zoom meeting to support my nephew and his wife as the adoption of their 2 baby foster children was finalized by the judge. Something I never would have been able to do because they live in Minnesota and because those types of court meetings are usually limited to a very few people. There were 50 of us on the Zoom call. And I feel so blessed that I was able to support them in what they are doing. So the actual reflection story number 3 comes from our beloveds, Jody Freeman and David Shea, who write, "We didn't want to quarantine alone, and now we don't want to be apart. We love you, Jody and David, and we're so happy for your togetherness." And now, special music.
Thank you. That was absolutely beautiful. Now I want to sing. But I wasn't blessed with that gift, so I'll share the next reflection story from Mary Rothschild. Mary writes, I live alone and really enjoy my peace and quiet, but I depend on being out and about and seeing friends on a regular basis, all of which stopped for me on March 12th, 2020. Although ever since I walked through the doors of VUU in 1985, I have known that VUU was important in my life and a great resource of wonderful friendships and experiences. I had no idea how vitally important it was to my sense of self and daily life enjoyment until it stopped. Because of COVID and services went online, singing stopped, and my social life seemed to stop too. I had no idea how much Sunday services in choir anchored my week and was a bulwark of my happiness, allowing me to see people I care about on a regular basis. Church and choir rehearsal gave me a social time and a place to go every week and provided me with lively conversations, hugs, and warm feelings with friends with whom I care deeply. That was completely gone, was stunning. Of course, after that first week, we discovered Zoom services with breakout rooms and Zoom committee meetings, and they were both better than nothing, but not at all a genuine substitute for seeing people in person, bodies below the shoulders, and hugs and handshakes, the warmth of a person's touch, not possible to experience on a screen. For me, it ultimately led to a real depression. I realized I hadn't been touched by a person in months, and I felt like those Romanian babies who shriveled up and had failure to thrive because they weren't held. I have substantial osteoarthritis, and I have had a massage for many years on a regular basis, but didn't feel safe going to massage therapists out in the scary COVID world. After scaring the wits out of my kids on a phone call in which I sounded depressed in a way they had never heard me sound before, normally, if anything, they think I'm too perky, they scheduled a wonderful massage to be done in my home the next day through an app called Zelle. And after that, I found a very good local massage therapist who would come to my home on a regular basis. It didn't make up for not seeing my VUU friends, but at least I had human touch in my life again. To make life better, I also ordered a mister system on Amazon, installed it so I could bear to be outside in the evening, and began asking VUU friends, one or two at a time, to come and visit, sitting way far apart outside. Seeing a few of my VUU friends again, along with a regular massage, began my road back to feeling normal and happy again. But I'll never again underestimate the importance of my VUU community to my daily general happiness. I'm very grateful to you all, and Mary, we are grateful for you. Your work in this congregation in so many capacities is the reason that we have such a strong foundation. Most recently, thank you for your work and commitment on the Ministerial Search Committee. I've learned so much from you, and as a worship associate, benefit from the work you did so long before I came.
And now we enter a time of centering, and want to let everyone know that we're reading all the stories we received. We had hoped for more, but what we received is beautiful, and everything is being presented. The centering reflection story is from Rebecca Riggs. She writes, I have 2 granddaughters. When COVID hit and the public schools closed in March of 2020, the girls were in pre-K and 2nd grade. Since my husband and I were both retired school teachers, we agreed to take the girls daily and take over as their teachers. Now, mind you, we had both been high school teachers. Larry in English and journalism, and me in math and science. We had zero experience teaching the primary grades. We got creative, though, put in lots of time, and did the best we could. However, I must confess, the overall experience for me was not positive. Never thought I'd hear Rebecca say that, but here it is in writing. Trying to walk the line between grandparent and teacher was incredibly difficult and often frustrating. In all my 35 years of teaching, I'm not sure I was ever so happy to see June come around and the official ending of classes. But there was one experience that will always stay with me. I worked daily with Kira, my oldest granddaughter, on math that was on the computer. And although she was good in math, it was difficult to keep her focused. Her goal was to finish as quickly as possible, and that often meant not really reading the directions, which led to many mistakes. One day she started in on answering problems, and I stopped her saying she was wrong, because once again she had skipped the directions. She looked confused for a moment and then explained what she was doing and how she thought it was right. As I looked more carefully, I saw she was right. I was the one who had misread the directions. I said to her, "Oh, Kira, I'm so sorry. You were right. I was wrong. You are doing it just right. I'm sorry I interrupted you. My mistake." She gave me the strangest look and said nothing. I said again, "I'm really sorry. My mistake. Are you okay?" She finally replied, saying that no one had ever said that to her before, that they were wrong and she was right, and then said sorry. She repeated herself and then continued saying, "It felt strange when you said it. It felt really good." Wow. 3 months of daily struggle were all worth it in that moment. She did learn a little math from me, but I think what she'll really remember was that old grandma was willing to admit a mistake and say, "I'm sorry," to a 7-year-old kid. Who knows if a similar conversation could have possibly taken place at some point without our being thrown together by COVID. But I'll always count it as a COVID blessing. Thank you.
I first thought that this hymn was kind of strange for the centering, but now I get how it completely fits in. We'll be singing the hymn, "We Give Thanks for This Precious Day." And I know there were a lot of days to be grateful for during that COVID period of being home exclusively. And now I'm so grateful for us to be together here. So we're going to sing this hymn much slower than we normally do, so just please follow Linda's pace, and we'll just sing it one time through. We give thanks. Oh, we give thanks for this precious day, for all gathered here and those far away, for this time we share with love and care. Oh, we give thanks for this precious day.
Reflection story number 5. We, Jen Hoffman and family were some of the first people in Arizona to catch COVID. We got it at ASU during the month of February 2020 when the first case there was confirmed. It was a large, wait for it, indoors Engineers Without Borders meeting, and no one knew it was airborne. My daughter and partner barely had a cold, but I got pneumonia. I managed to avoid the hospital, but only due to the vigilance of my family. Then I couldn't work due to the cough I had for many months. Managing my long COVID has been really rough, but we've preserved, and I'm starting to get my wellness business going again. We're rehabbing a house where I'll have an office again soon, if we can just get it done in time. Any help or positivity towards doing that would be greatly appreciated. Thank you. And thank you, Jen and family, for sharing your story. And thank you to the many of you in the VUU community who asked for help during the COVID lockdown time. It filled me up to take food to my friends in need and lessened the isolation in which I was drowning. So thank you.
And now it's that time in the service when we talk about the offering. Last week, in Reverend Fred's unique perspective on the offering, he auctioned off food items to demonstrate how creative giving and receiving can be. I have no physical items to share, but I'd like you to take a look around. What value does this community have for you? Barbara gave voice to the sanctuary and its gratitude for filling its space. Some members have recounted the importance of human connection here. Others speak to fulfillment through groups focused on environment, social justice, or faith without judgment. All of this is possible through hope, manifesting in a monetary offering for a better world through our work here. Your donation does reflect the value this community represents for you. This slide gives you many options in ways that you can do that. And now, if the ushers will come forward, they'll collect from you in-house as well. I want to take this time to thank you for your generosity and support of this congregation. Well, we're coming to the end, and I've got the reflection story, number 6, the last of our series. I had the unique experience for a young adult during COVID. I lived in the same city, but neither my little brother nor I were in their germ bubble. My parents are high risk, and both of our jobs put us on the front lines as a nurse and a school librarian. But early COVID was scary, and our parents were so isolated. We figured something out. We didn't visit together. I came in through the side gate to the patio in the backyard, where we had 2 tables to keep us 6 feet apart. We kept masks on. On more than one occasion, it was reported that my little brother used the side wall as a bathroom. I didn't know if that was TMI, but it was in the story. I came every week, my brother, when he wasn't working COVID floors. What I'm most proud of is how we pulled off Christmas. When it looked like Santa would not be bringing us a vaccine in time, we decided to put the tree on the patio, ornaments, lights, and all. My mom had the brilliant idea of taking the lights from the front of the house and using them to decorate the backyard. I arrived Christmas morning in pajamas, as is traditional, and a sweatshirt to keep warm, to find all my presents stacked on the end of my side of the table. It was so special for such a hard time. Aside from my missing brother, it was one of my favorite Christmases ever. I want to thank you for sharing how there is light in the midst of darkness, and highlighting that caring for the vulnerable, our parents or each other, is of paramount importance. A salute to you in the front line. You are truly essential workers.
Beth is going to join me again for our closing hymn. We'll be singing The Fire of Commitment. Please stand if you are able. From the light of days remembered burns a beacon bright and clear, guiding hands and hearts and spirits into faith set free from fear. When the fire of commitment sets our mind and souls ablaze, when our hunger and our passion meet to call us on our way, when we live with deep assurance of the flame that burns within, then our promise finds fulfillment and our future can begin. From the stories of our living rings a song both brave and free, calling pilgrims still to witness to the life of liberty. When the fire of commitment sends our mind and soul ablaze, when our hunger and our passion meet to call us on our way, when we live with deep assurance of the flame that burns within, then our promise finds fulfillment and our future can begin. From the dreams of youthful vision comes a new prophetic voice, which demands a deeper justice built by our courageous choice. When the fire of commitment sends our mind and soul ablaze, when our hunger and our passion meet to call us on our way, when we live with deep assurance of the flame and her living, then our promise finds fulfillment and our future can begin.
Too bad we're ending early on a holiday Sunday. We hope you'll take some time to stay for a little beverage, hot or cold, and share the story that you might have sent to us. And many thanks to everyone who made this service possible. We hope you have a lovely weekend.
Thank you so much. We are a community, and our stories always bring us together. So for all those who submitted, we truly appreciate that. And now let us extinguish the candle. Though we extinguish the chalice, our connection to each other and this community remains. May its light guide us this week as we walk the path of justice, speak words of love, and fill our world with compassion until we meet again. Go in peace, my friends. Go in peace.